how's it going? I was just wondering if you and Oren had already picked a day when you were going to have your civil ceremony?
Oh, hey, Gabby. No, we still haven't quite decided on a date yet. Why do you ask?
I guess I was just curious about when you two were finally going to tie the knot is all.
You're really that curious about something happening in my life. I feel like that's a little weird for you, no? I feel like you almost never want to know what's going on with me most of the time.
Well, I suppose you're right about that. I'm not really asking because I care about you. I was more interested in the man you're marrying.
I don't think I like where this conversation is going.
I mean, I've just heard so much about him, and he sounds like a real catch, sis. I hear that he's handsome and works for a big company, right? Just how did you end up with a guy like that, huh?
Well, if you really want to know, we just happen to share a lot of interests and bonded over that.
You mean how you're all outdoorsy and stuff like that? Does Oren like doing camping too?
Yeah, he prefers just hiking, and we've gone and done that a couple of times together. Although you know that I don't really like doing that as much, so he usually goes and does that by himself.
I see. But if he loves hiking so much, then he must have a pretty good body too, right? Why don't you tell me just a little bit more about the hobbies and interests that you have, sis?
Gabby, I can see what you're doing here, and I really don't like it. If you really are so into doing things outdoors, then why don't you just find your own community to do it with?
Oh, come on. You're really not going to tell me at all what it is that you two bonded over? And here I thought that's what sisters were supposed to do.
I don't even get you. I thought you hated going into nature in the first place. When we did it when we were kids, all you did was complain about the bugs and having to eat food without a table.
Okay, well, maybe I've just started to take a little more interest in doing stuff like that now, though. I mean, I think it's fair to say that hiking and camping and stuff like that is having a bit of a comeback.
I think it did have a comeback, but I really don't know of many people wanting to do it for the fad now.
I just think that I have a lot to offer the outdoors, you know? I mean, I'm not some granola-looking hippie chick, but I'm actually good-looking. Think of what I could do for camping's image.
Is that really why you want to start doing more things outdoors?
I mean, it's not the main reason, but I don't think you say that's what I said is wrong.
I guess I can't, no.
So you're telling me that there isn't anyone from your little camping circles that you can introduce me to? Maybe someone who likes all that nature stuff, but also is handsome and makes a lot of money?
I don't know anyone like that, unfortunately. I'm afraid I don't really ask the people who I've gone camping with about how much money they make.
So you're telling me that you took the only good man who also happens to be into hiking then?
That's not what I said, and please don't talk about my fiancé or anyone as if it was their... I think that you should want to find people on your own terms, Gabby.
You've got some nerve telling me to do that after you bring your fiancé home to introduce to Mom and Dad. You know that after you left, Mom started asking me about when I was gonna get married. You're starting to really make me look bad with the family, so the least you can do is introduce me to someone.
But it's not like you don't know how to talk to boys. You've had boyfriends in the past, and quite a few of them, I might add. I just don't really even see what kind of advice I could offer that you don't already know yourself.
So you're really happy as long as you're the only one who's happy? You don't care about anyone else but yourself?
Do you really think that that's what I'm trying to say with all of this?
I think that you should just stop arguing with me and start bringing out the men you think I could date.
I don't get what your deal is, Gabby. Ever since we were little, you've always put me down and made me feel stupid. Whether it's about my looks or my job, you always try and make me feel worse in comparison to you. But now you want me to introduce you to someone that I know?
I don't really see why you had to bring any of that up when all I was doing was being honest with you.
Look, I have some errands to run and I don't really feel like having this conversation right now. So I'm going to go now.
Hey, come on, we weren't through there. I still have things I wanted to talk to you about. Please, just introduce me to someone. You have to, I'm begging you here. Be a good sister and just do this for me.
Gabby, what is the matter with you? You need to leave Oren alone, seriously.
Oh, darn, you mean that you already heard about your little run-in with each other?
Run-in? Is that seriously what you're going to call it? Oren told me that you were waiting for him outside of his work and that you invited him out to grab drinks with you.
Well, he's going to be my brother-in-law soon, right? So, I don't see what's wrong with wanting to get to know him as family a little bit better.
I really just can't believe that. I know that something's up with you. You wouldn't just do something like that if you weren't up to something.
So I'm really just not allowed to talk to your fiancé at all? That seems a little excessive if you ask me. I mean, how are we all supposed to be a family that way?
Why are you even trying to pretend that that's what you did? I know that you guilted him into grabbing dinner with you, and then when you two had your meal, you asked if he wouldn't mind paying for a hotel room for the two of you? What is the matter with you? Why would you even try something like that with someone else's man?
Oh, I'm so sorry if what I did upset you, Amanda. But I really don't think that it was all that bad for Oren. I think that he really did want to eat dinner with me, and that he would have gone with me to the hotel if it weren't for you.
I don't even know what to say to that right now.
And he really is such a nice man. You have no idea how lucky you are.
Look, you may be my sister, but I have limits with this, and I'm not afraid to do what I have to.
Ugh, you're so lame. Do you realize that? You seriously need to chill out.
Chill out? Are you kidding me? What gives you the right to say that to me?
I mean, all I did was ask him a couple of questions. I didn't realize that you were gonna act like such a jealous teenager over this.
I don't care if you want to ask Oren questions. It's the kind of things that you were asking him. You were clearly flirting with my fiancé.
Well, that's just it though, right? He's just your fiancé, so I don't really see what the big deal is.
Please tell me that that isn't how you actually think, Gabby. I don't even know what to say to something like that. Look, just leave me alone, okay? I don't want to deal with you anymore. And you're certainly not welcome at my wedding either.
Hold on a second, what? But we're family. You're really gonna ban me from your wedding over this? How could you do this to me?
I'm sorry, but you left me with no other choice with the way that you're acting. I had a bad feeling when I got a text from Oren saying that he bumped into you, and now I know what he was
Oh, come on, I only invited him out for dinner. I can't believe that you're gonna keep me from your wedding over something like that. You are blowing this way out of proportion.
But I already know that that isn't all you invited him out for. We both know that you invited him to sleep with you afterwards.
But he didn't, did he? So I didn't really do anything wrong, did I?
I'm sorry, but I just don't see it that way. At all. You and I are no longer sisters because no sister of mine would treat me like this. All you're trying to do is ruin my happiness so that you can feel better about yourself. And I will not stand for it. Stay away from us or else I will get really, really mad.
You really must think that the world revolves around you now, huh? A little fat girl like you gets a man to marry her, and suddenly you think you can boss people around however you like. I just want you to know that whenever I think of you in a wedding dress, I just feel sick to my stomach. You think that your life is so perfect, but I know that your wedding is just gonna be a joke. Amanda, I just heard the news from Oren. He told me that your wedding dress for tomorrow has been ripped and cut up.
Hi, Laura. Yes, I don't know what happened. I guess that while the store was open, someone snuck into the bridal shop, found my dress, and destroyed it. I got a call from the staff apologizing to me for what happened, but still...
Oh, but that's just horrible. I heard the dress was totally ruined, is that right?
I know, but I can just wear something else. Obviously, I would have preferred to wear the white dress, but I don't really think that's an option anymore.
I know you were so excited for it. I remember how perfect you thought it was when you first saw it. Just who in the world would do something like that? We've got to get to the bottom of this and figure out who the culprit is.
I'm afraid that I might already know who's to blame for this, actually.
Oh, really? And just who might that be?
I am 99% certain that it was my sister who did it.
Oh, right. I think I've heard a little bit about her from Oren. He tells me that she's rather odd. But you don't really think she destroyed your dress, do you?
I really can't think of any other person who would want to do something like that to me.
Wow. I had no idea that things were like that between the two of you.
I can't believe she would take things this far either. But I think she was just jealous that I'm the younger sister and I'm getting married before her.
So you think that's why she did this?
Well, she did know that my wedding is going to be tomorrow. Although now I'm not sure if we'll be able to have the wedding at all without the dress.
Now don't you go giving up hope just yet. I'm sure that we can think of something before the big day. I don't think we have to go about canceling everything just yet.
What do you mean? What could we possibly do with so little time?
I know that you might have heard about this through Oren, but I used to be a fashion designer in my day.
Yeah, of course I knew about that. But I don't see what we can do in such little time.
Well, if you think that I'm suggesting starting a dress from scratch, then yes, there would be no time for that at all. But I think if we use another dress as a base, I can take some pieces of the old one and make you something that you'll really like.
You would really do that for me, Laura?
I think that's the least I can do to make sure that this wedding still happens. But I think I'll need your help to do this.
Oh, but it's already so late at night. Are you sure you want to try doing this? I would hate to make you work so hard just for me.
Well, I'm not going to handle it all without an extra hand here. I'll send you some pictures and call in some old favors, so you don't have to worry about anything actually. Just focus on getting ready for your big day and look forward to seeing what I can make for you. Good morning, Amanda! Just how are you feeling today, huh?
What do you want now, Gabby?
I heard the awful news from Mom yesterday. She told me some crazy person broke into the bridal shop where your dress was being held and totally ruined it. I guess that means you'll have to cancel your wedding then, right? It's really such a shame how the timing for this all worked, though.
Is this really what you came to talk to me about? Because I'm afraid that it's not the wedding that's over, it's you.
You mean you're still going through with the wedding? But that doesn't make any sense. You don't even have a wedding dress to wear anymore.
You probably didn't know this, but Owen's mom actually used to be a fashion designer. And she has a bunch of connections. So, yesterday, she called in some favors and made me a truly one-of-a-kind dress.
No, that can't be. That's impossible.
I'm afraid that it's very possible for a woman of her caliber. And now I have an amazing wedding dress that I'm going to wear to my amazing wedding. This really is going to be a great day.
This can't be happening. You can't really be getting married, right? I don't care what dress you have on. You're still a fat little pig and everyone is going to laugh at you when they see you.
Thankfully, none of the people invited to the wedding would ever do anything like that.
We'll just see, won't we? Maybe your friends are all just laughing behind your back and have been making fun of you this whole time. And I seriously doubt that anyone on Orion's side has any reason not to laugh at you.
Actually, I've met most of the people that are going to be on Oren's side, and they're all very kind.
No, they're just all laughing behind your back and being polite to your face.
We'll just see about that. But I just have to ask. You were the one who snuck in and cut up my wedding dress, weren't you?
What are you talking about? You think I have that much free time that I can run around doing stuff like that?
You seemed to be fixated on my dress the other day, though.
And that's all the evidence you have? That I brought up your dress while we were talking about your wedding? Good luck getting anyone to listen to that if that's all the evidence you have. Besides, you didn't even invite me to your wedding, so how was I supposed to know what day it was?
What are you talking about? You literally live with Mom and Dad. You must have seen the invitation that I sent to them.
Now you're just making things up so that you can blame me for this. I never ever made any moves on Oren, and you're still blaming me like I did something horrible. I think that you're just jealous because you know he's out of your league and you're scared to lose him. So I'm glad that you're out of my life because I don't want anything to do with you either.
You're making a very compelling case. But you forget the part where the stores have security cameras.
Wait, you mean at the bridal store? No way, that can't be. Are you really telling me that I showed up on their cameras? But Mom said that the cameras only showed someone wearing a big black parka. She didn't mention anything about being able to see the person's face.
I guess you thought that if you mostly covered up your face, you wouldn't have anything to worry about, huh?
What is this? You just think the criminal has a similar face as me and that's why you're blaming me?
The cameras weren't just in the stores. They were in the parking lot, too. And you were shown clear as day parking the car, putting on your parka, and going in. Do you really not think that the parking lots would have security cameras? Why do you think there'd be no reason to have them there? Anyways, I guess it's a question you can answer for the police instead.
The police? But all I did was cut up your dress. That's not that big of a deal, right?
So you finally come out and admit that you did it.
Well, because you said you were gonna call the cops on me.
Well, you should be hearing from them soon. I imagine the bridal store is going to want to sue for damages as well.
But that isn't fair. Why would they sue me?
Because you snuck into their store and cut up an item they were going to sell? Did you really just ask that? You ruined my wedding dress as part of your plan to ruin my wedding, and you thought you were going to get away with that?
But I'm not actually gonna get, arrested or anything like that, right?
Who knows, you just might actually.
But that can't happen to me. Please, I'm sorry, I really am. I never wanted things to go like this. I regret it all. I'm so sorry.
You think I want to hear that from you now? Not only did you try to ruin my wedding, but you did all of that after you tried flirting with my fiancé?
I really am so sorry for everything. I was just jealous, that's all. All my friends are getting married and I'm the only one who's not, and I hate it.
And that's why you had to keep making fun of my weight and telling me how awful I was going to look? We're sisters. How could you do all of this to me?
But nothing really happened, right? I mean, I only had dinner with Oren, and now you have a new wedding dress. So there's really no need to punish me for anything, right?
I already told you, that's up to the bridal store, not me. But as for you, I really do want nothing to do with you ever again. The whole family knows about what you tried to do, and they are all so disappointed in you. So have a nice life, Gabby. After that, I heard that the police arrived at my parents' place to arrest Gabby. Even though nobody got hurt, the crime was so unusual that it ended up on the local news, and everyone knew about the crazy woman who cut up her sister's wedding dress out of jealousy. Rumors about it even started flying around Gabby's work, and eventually she couldn't stand the rumors anymore and quit. My parents took pity on her and agreed to let her stay with them, but she couldn't stand being in a house with people who had such a little opinion of her. As for my wedding, I was amazed at how gorgeous the dress that Laura made for me was. It fit like a glove, and Oren and I had the best wedding ever. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hey, Sandy, I just wanted to let you know that I got the package that you sent me. These fruits are just lovely. And the basket is great, too. This must have cost a fortune. You didn't have to go and spend all that money on me. I really didn't even pay much for it, though. So many of my neighbors grow their own foods, and most of that was just gifts from them. I gave them all a little bit of money as a way of saying thanks, but the basket really cost much less than you might think. Well, still, thank you so much. It really is a thoughtful gift. I'll have to think of how to get through all of this before it goes bad. I really hope I didn't go overboard with all that I gave you. I'm sure that there's enough people in the house that'll all get eaten, right? Yes, I think this should be plenty to last us a while. And since your brother and his wife are here living with us, I'm sure we'll have no problem eating all of this fruit. Well, as long as you think that everyone will enjoy it, that's all that matters. By the way, they've already been living there for about 2 months, right? How's that going? It's going quite well, thank you. At first there were some bumps along the way, but I think we've settled into a good routine now. Well, that's good to hear. But still, I bet you must have been surprised when Gary asked to live with you all of a sudden. You didn't have to say yes to him, you know. Well, I didn't really have a reason to say no. Besides, Gary assured me that it would just be a temporary thing. Did he really say that to you, Mom? Yes, he said that he wanted to save up money to buy a house, and that it would be much easier to do so if they lived with me for a while. I see. Well, I sure hope he's right about that. But I just hope that you remember you're allowed to say when enough is enough. You seem to be enjoying living alone after Dad passed away. There was a lot of joy out of living alone for the first time in a few decades, yes. But it is just so nice to have my son and his wife over, and I've been enjoying the company. And I think many of my neighbors are relieved to know that I'm living with someone again, just in case anything were to happen to me. Yeah, I suppose that is a good point as well. To be honest, I was a little worried about you living all on your own as well. I just hope that Gary really meant what he said. Sometimes I worry that he's just being a cheapskate and looking for ways to not have to spend money. Do you really think he would be using me just for that? I can't say what Gary is thinking for sure, But I do know that ever since the business he tried to start failed, he's been asking for money from several people. And that's not even talking about the second business he tried to start after Dad died and Gary got his share of the inheritance. But that one was also over almost as soon as it started. I just don't know how he managed to make the same mistakes twice. That's true, but Gary has a job now. And for a company that already exists, I think that he's really changed since getting married. I really hope so. But just remember that you can tell him now. I know that you always want to be there for us when we need you, but it's okay to have your boundaries too. Thank you very much, Sandy. It makes me happy to know that my daughter is thinking of me so much, especially considering the fact that you must be so preoccupied with being pregnant. Well, I just saw a doctor last week and he said that there was nothing to worry about. So don't you go worrying about me yet, okay, Mom? Anyways, I have to go to another appointment, so I'll talk to you later, okay? Sounds good, Sandy. I hope the appointment goes well. I also have some housework that I need to attend to. I hope you get home safely.
Hey, Sandy, do you have a second to chat real quick?
Sure thing, Gary. What's on your mind? I feel like I don't usually hear from you.
Yeah, well, there's just something I wanted to talk to you about, if that's alright.
I'm sorry, Gary, but I don't have any money to give you.
That's not what I was talking about, and why do you automatically think that that's what I was gonna ask you about, huh?
Well, because 9 times out of 10, it usually is.
You really know how to grind my gears, you know that?
Well, you're already on thin ice with me since you basically forced Mom to take you in. I know that you're just taking advantage of how kind she is, Gary.
That's not fair! I have a job and I'm not getting in anyone's way or trying to do anything.
So then you're contributing to paying for the groceries and utilities and things like that?
I mean, I am a bit, yeah.
A bit? What's that supposed to mean?
You asked if I was paying and I said I was. Jeez. If anything, you should be thanking me for moving in with Mom. You don't live anywhere near here and it's my wife and I who are looking after her now.
You're right, that does make me a little less nervous about Mom, although it does add its own anxieties about it too. And if I wasn't pregnant right now, I would be visiting home a lot more often. I'd want to see for myself that things are going well between everyone there.
I can't believe this. I can't believe that you're going after my wife now too.
And just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, this is what I actually wanted to talk to you about. The truth is that Mom has been really bullying my wife, Eve.
What? No way! Mom would never ever do something like that.
I'm telling the truth. Why else would I be reaching out to you if it wasn't something that was really bugging me?
Well, I just can't see Mom being mean to anyone without reason. There's no way she's just bullying Eve.
I thought the same way. I had never even imagined that Mom had this side to her. But after we moved in, it was like watching a cute little dog that you've known for years get rabies or something.
Did you seriously just compare our mom to a dog with rabies?
You aren't here. You haven't seen all the things that I have. For example, just recently, you sent us that basket of fruit, right?
Yeah, I did. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, Mom told Eve that she wasn't allowed to have any.
But that doesn't make any sense. There was so much fruit, there's no way she could eat it all on her own.
She gave me a portion of it and then handed the rest to her neighbors. But Eve really likes the kind of grapes that were in that basket, and Mom knows that and didn't give her a single one.
Well, that's definitely odd, and it doesn't sound very nice. But I'm not sure I would call that bullying.
Well, that's one example of the many awful things that she's been treating Eve. Don't tell me that you're just gonna ignore it because it's Mom.
I didn't say that I was ignoring anything. But the mom that I know wouldn't do something like that unless she had a good reason to. I'm just confused is all.
But we've only ever seen the good side of Mom because we're her kids. The way she treats other people is just horrible, though. Are things not like that with you and your husband?
No, not really. I get along great with his parents, actually.
Well, that's probably just because you aren't actually living together like we are, right?
I'm not sure if that's the reason why. Anyways, I guess I can always just ask Mom herself about what she thinks about it all.
No, please don't do that.
What do you mean? I thought you were coming to me because you wanted help with Mom.
No, that's why I messaged you. I want to handle this by myself. I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about what I could do to take care of this problem.
Are you sure you can handle something like that?
I think that if you were able to get involved, that Mom would start treating Eve even worse, and then that would be all your fault. Plus, Mom would just be mad at all of us if she found out that I came to you about all this.
Well, if that really happens, then I'll take your side and tell me what she's doing is wrong. But I just really can't accept that she's acting the way she is towards Eve for no reason. I just want to get to the bottom of this.
And you think that if you ask Mom, she'll confess right away?
I think it's only fair that I hear Mom's version of events regarding this, don't you?
Ugh, I don't even know why I bothered coming to you for help with something like this. Just don't say anything about this to Mom at all, okay?
Wait, are you serious about all of this?
Look, you don't live at home anymore, so you don't know what it's like. All I'm asking is for you to keep your mouth shut about this for a little bit, okay?
I understand that, but you were the ones who asked if you could move back in. You realize that, right? And if Mom really is bullying Eve, I'm not exactly sure how much I'm gonna be able to do from here anyways.
I knew that I never should have said anything about this to you. I thought you might be able to help me, but I should have known that you would just take Mom's side on this no matter what. Just promise me that you're not gonna say anything about this to Mom, okay?
Hey, Gary, what is going on over there? I heard you kicked Mom out of her own house. What happened?
Of course I kicked her out after all that she's been doing.
Is this all about her not getting along with Eve?
She wasn't just not getting along, she was really bullying my wife.
Well, I went and asked Mom about it, and she said that she had no idea what you were talking about.
Well, of course she would say something like that to you.
I'm sorry, Gary, but is there any way that we can meet and talk about this in person? Because you can't just kick Mom out of her house and leave her with no place to stay. I mean, you were the ones who moved in with her in the first place.
Well, she should have thought about that before she treated Eve the way she did. If she couldn't see that this would result in her getting kicked out, then that's her problem. And I still can't believe that you're taking her side over ours in all this.
I really just think that you're taking this whole thing too far and that you're going to regret this.
Oh, really? Is that what you think? And just who am I going to end up regretting this? If anyone is regretting anything, it's probably Mom for all that she did to Eve. I mean, we're kind enough to move in with her and give her some company, and she treats us like crap.
Well, I offered to talk to Mom about this for you, didn't I? You didn't have to go and do something this drastic.
Wait a second, is Mom there with you right now?
She is, actually. After you kicked her out, she asked if I had any room for her at my place.
Well, fine then. You have Mom and she has a place to live, so everything is fine. And you said you get along with her in-laws, so I'm sure that they'll be happy to have her, right?
You really have no idea the mess that you've made for yourself, do you?
I don't see how you can say that when we're the ones with the house. Mom should be ashamed of herself for acting the way she was acting. I never want her to go near Eve ever again.
I see. So then there's really no way that we're all gonna be able to sit down and talk about this then?
I can't see that happening anytime soon now. But you should send someone down or come down yourself to get Mom stuff. And if you don't do it soon, we're just gonna throw it all away anyway.
You seriously need to stop acting like this, Gary. You literally kicked our Mom out of her own house. You don't even own the place where you're staying.
Well, I'm the oldest child, so this house is gonna be mine eventually anyway. I just hurried up the process is all. You don't have the right to tell me anything. Hey, Sandy, what the heck is going on? Why did your husband and some real estate agent guy just show up to my house?
I'm not sure what you mean. What seems to be the problem with that?
Well, the real estate agent guy was talking about the house being sold, but is that true? I had no idea about any of this, and I want answers.
Well, the owner of the house is Mom, right? So Mom can do whatever she wants with the house.
But my wife and I are living here. What the heck are we supposed to do?
Leave the house, probably. I mean, it's not like you can have any legal say in what can be done with the house anyways.
Well, sure, but Mom could have at least talked to us about this a little bit before going off and selling the place.
And just why should she have to talk to the people who stole her house from her in the first place?
But the only reason I kicked her out in the first place was because she was bullying Eve. I had a good reason to do what I did and Mom doesn't.
even if Mom was bullying Eve, you two are still gonna have to leave her house no matter what.
But why? That isn't fair at all! We didn't even do anything wrong!
It doesn't matter one way or the other. Mom owns the house and she can do what she likes with it. That's just how the law works. You tried to kick her out of her house, forgetting that she has the final say in what happens to it. If you were worried about your wife getting bullied, then you should have moved out and found a place to live.
But that still isn't fair! Why should Eve and I have to do anything when it was Mom who was acting the way she was?
Do you still not understand that you're asking the wrong person the wrong questions?
Okay, fine. Go ahead and tell Mom that she can move back in with Eve and I.
Are you serious? You really think that Mom is gonna come back after all this?
Tell her that we're willing to talk and work something out and that maybe Eve and I took things a little far.
That is not going to be enough to get Mom to move back in with you.
And just what makes you say that, huh? I'm not asking for your opinion, I'm asking for you to pass a message on to Mom.
But you told me that I should just take Mom in and leave the house to you two. Besides, I already know that Mom wasn't doing any bullying of any kind.
And just what makes you say that, huh?
Because I know that instead, it was you and Eve who were bullying Mom this whole time.
Why would you say something like that? Do you have any proof of this at all?
Do I have any proof that you and Eve were bullying Mom? No, I do not. But Mom has plenty of it.
What do you mean?
I mean that you thought you would have had Mom wrapped around your finger and that she would let you get away with anything. You even made her pay for all the groceries and utilities, all while making her clean up the house by herself.
No, that isn't true, and you still haven't shown me any proof.
Oh, right, the proof. Well, you know how Mom is always looking forward to getting a new phone, right? Anyways, since she knows how to use them, she has plenty of recordings of you saying all kinds of horrible things to her. She showed them to me, and now I know all about how you've been treating her.
But I only said the things I said to her because she was so mean to Eve.
And do you have any proof of that, Gary?
No, I don't, but...
Well, then I guess I have no proof but to take Mom's word over yours, huh? If anything, the fact that you both are still living in Mom's house is all the proof that I need. That was always what you were after, wasn't it? That's why you wanted to move in, to kick Mom out?
Gosh, you're wrong! You don't even know what you're talking about!
Then why is it only after you realize that the house is being sold that you asked for Mom to come back and live with you two? Do you really think I wouldn't be able to see right through that? Well, Mom has no intention of letting you get away with this at all.
So then, she's really actually selling the house.
That's right. And that means that you two should start packing your things. You'll have until the end of the month until the place needs to be empty.
So, we don't even get a whole month?
I don't have all the details. I'm just telling you what Mom wanted me to pass on. And don't forget, you were the ones who accused her of all the things that she never really did.
Well, tell her that I'm really sorry for everything, okay?
So you admit to bullying her out of her own house?
Yes, it's true, but the truth is that I'm in some financial troubles right now.
I figured as much, actually. It was obvious when you were so intent on taking the house all for yourselves.
I know I shouldn't have done that, but I just thought that if I could use Mom to save some money that I could get myself out of that debt.
And you had to kick her out to do that? Well, now you've gone too far.
Why can't I reach Mom's phone? I just want to talk to her.
That's Mom's way of telling you that she wants nothing to do with you anymore.
Please, I'm her son. She has to talk to me.
You used Mom up until she couldn't stand it anymore. This is what you deserve.
Sandy, please. You know that I didn't want any of this to happen, so you have to tell Mom that I'm really sorry. I just need one more chance and some money.
I don't want anything to do with you either, so you can just save it, Gary. After that, Gary and Eve stayed in our mom's house as long as I could until they were finally forced out. My husband called in a favor with a friend who owned a moving company. Suddenly, there were 5 burly guys standing outside my mom's house, all taking Gary and Eve's things and stacking them up in the yard. They forced Gary and Eve to hire them, loaded up their boxes, and those two were never seen again. I heard later that Gary had declared bankruptcy and never heard from him again. My mom and I also made the effort to not keep up with any news regarding Gary and Eve. Not long after that, I finally gave birth and was really grateful to have my mom around the house to help out. We did end up finding her her own house, however, and she enjoys living alone again. Her new house is close enough that we can always go over and visit, and she's welcome at our place anytime.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.